with that. Um, but I don't know how they're going to do without the exhaust once they get out of laning phase.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Are both of you able to spec off of me now?
Yep.
Awesome, perfect. So we'll get this up on stream right away as we get into this loading screen. So, fun fact, Carrie Playsmurf sent me messages, said, "Don't judge us by our gold borders," knowing full well that these are actually Smurf accounts and these guys are like diamond level players. So do not be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. You will see the utmost levels of play here, and also that both of these teams have something to fear from one another. We saw the Lee Sin ban come out for the blue team, apparently very, very scared of the red team's abilities to play Lee Sin. So that is exactly what that was. It was a targeted ban, and oh man, those freaking hamsters in Renekton's computer. Too OP.
Well, I don't know. I really want to see this Nami play. I want to see how this works against a Janna, which most people would say is a more valued or better support. But I don't know.
mean,
I like Nami. I think Nami is one of the most underrated champions in League of Legends.
I don't think that she's underrated. I think she falls into the same issues that Sona has, in the fact that she's very frail. Like, for all things that she is, she's surprisingly frail. I remember, it was a few months ago, it was actually back during when Nami was on the PBE, we had this huge discussion. We dedicated an entire night of streaming to go ahead and essentially display Nami's skills, you know, her stats, and go over her as a champion as a whole while she was in the PvE, and discuss certain, you know, combinations with her when people originally thought that she could be played AP, you know, things with her support and everything like that. And one of the things to note is that she has, for a support, very high armor scaling. It's just about up there with Lulu's. But despite that, her low health really just, it gives her a lot of problems. She's not able to take those hits. She becomes very frail in the same vein that Sona does, and doesn't have the ability to deal with harass anymore because she doesn't have good scaling health.
Right, but the reason I say she's then underrated is because even with those issues on Sona, we still see Sona picked and
Oh, of
played
course.
all the time. And I think the last time I've seen a Nami played in a serious game, you know, before this one, was right after she came out.
Yeah, and now, sorry. People sending me messages. Anyways, we have mad pings going down all around the map, and it looks like we're just going for a very defensive thing right now. You can see Nautilus and Jarvan here just kind of standing off in the mid lane, making some funny gestures at each other, asking if they're scared. You can see Jarvan clearly shaking in his boots right now. Oh man, I've got nothing. And these guys just having some fun with each other. And there we go. There's the damage onto Nautilus. Apparently he is scared now and is going to have to end up leaving. So that may or may not have actually made a difference, as it looks like. Let me go ahead and check real quick. Nautilus had to use a potion. So for everything that just happened, Nautilus just had to burn a potion. You can see Renekton here, not exactly sure what he's up to. This could be dangerous in a 3v1 scenario right now. Even at level 1, you can see it didn't really stop them at all. Jarvan still managed to get all of his experience. So fairly standard starts coming out, and it looks like for the blue team, for the red team rather, they've gone ahead and taken Wolves to keep up on the experience advantage that the blue team is going to be getting through golems.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of that when you have somebody who can start red is going ahead and taking those wolves because they'll respawn before your jungler really needs to come over and take them anyways, at least if he goes straight to blue. So it doesn't really hurt your team and it keeps you on par so you don't get that quick level 2 engage against you.
Yeah, now we can see just down in the actually in the top lane, quite a bit of harass going on. Those auto attacks being pelted out from Trundle have actually taken Renekton down quite low. Luckily for him, though, he's able to really keep up with this. And in the bot lane, we saw a nice stun landed by Nami. Unfortunately, nothing that could really keep up with that as Caitlyn just turns around to pelt down those auto attacks. And here we go in the top lane. There's the Ignite. Health potions burning away. And in the bot lane, we have the first gank going down, the knockup coming out from Janna. And there's the flash, the barrier coming out, and a nice stun by Nami will go ahead and keep Caitlyn alive. Oh dear God, that was pro right there. That was pro.
Yeah, that was really close. Good job on the barrier.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see that. It just in general that was so impressive play on the both parts. No one really expects those super early ganks coming out from junglers these days. So to see that level 3 gank come down was really nice. You can see in the top lane now, Renekton's got this slight experience advantage, and he's trying to push it for all it's worth. Every time he gets that level up and has one level over this Trundle, he goes ahead and goes into harass. We saw a failed gank going down in the mid lane, and now Jarvan headed back into his jungle. So nothing too exciting here happening across the map. Granted, we are only 3 to 4 minutes into the game, but Kassadin has already blown through all of his mana, and this is something that's going to be really beneficial for Ahri because she pretty much wants to take the advantage now to try and kill him before he hits level 6, and she's completely bent over.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a real problem when he hits level 6, but they both started with the exact same build, the Flask and Pots. So they're on relatively even footing when they trade as far as mana use, but I think most of Kassadin's costs are higher initially. Ahri has more skills she will use, especially if she levels what you should level against the Kassadin, which is W first for when he jumps in on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to pump a lot of damage onto him that way. And it looks like she's actually going with the Q. The Q is better for harass. The W is better for being harassed upon. Um,
Right.
so I'm interested to see how that works out. Like normally against a Kassadin or any type of assassin, I would put points in the W. But as we have established and has been proven by
You're a
ranked game after
nub!
ranked game, they are
And
better
in
than
the
I am.
top lane, we have got a gank going down. Nautilus trying to come up here. And there we go. There's the flash coming out from Nautilus. And that will be first blood going to the blue team. Renekton having established that. You can see the jungler really concentrating on Renekton. They know what a heavy carry he is. They know what kind of damage he can do in the mid to late game. They know how threatening he can be. Last game, Renekton was a monster. A very, very terrifying crocodile monster. So I'm really curious to see essentially what they're able to do with this. And like you said, Ahri is leveling up that Orb of Deception as opposed to Foxfire right now. It's not necessarily for the fact that she wants to defend against those trades with Kassadin. More so, it looks like she's just looking to go for a nice flash burn by Kassadin. It looks like she's just going for wave clear. She just wants to have the ability to farm, and that's really what Orb of Deception is leveled up for. She's less so going for the straight up harass and trade potential as she is going for I just want to be able to farm.
And it looks like Kassadin probably rushing I'd say a tier.
No, it
Not a
looks like
tier.
he's actually going for rushing that row right now. He's almost up
Yeah,
to his
Catalyst.
catalyst. And
Catalyst will be the first item. Yeah.
exactly. So it looks like he's going for a little bit of extra tankiness to him, which isn't going to hurt him at all because, he's a Kassadin. He's going to start just doing terrible, terrible things to Ahri. You can see in the top lane, Renekton's managed to hit level 6, and this is exactly what he wanted. I talked a little bit earlier about once he got those level advantage, he'd go for it. And there we go. There is a flash. And that's just so rough for him to deal with. Like, Trundle is getting so far behind right now, and that will be another kill for Renekton, sitting at 2-0 at only 7 minutes into the game.
It's very nice of him to shoot out that trophy, though. You just stick up the "You beat me" trophy. Uh, it's very sportsmanlike. Um,
Yeah, it's good job, good job.
but we see Ari pick up the double Dorans, which I think is a really, really good start for Ari against Kassadin. I mean, you know that as soon as he hits level 6, he's going to be harassing you. That's going to give you a little bit more life, the mana regen to stick around in lane. Combine that with the flask and a couple of health pots, and it'll help you survive kind of that initial, like, level 6 to 8 phase where Kassadin is just better than anyone else has the option to be. And it'll
Totally
help,
not
especially since they're going
yawning.
for harass.
Exactly. Now in the bot lane, we've seen consistently this Nami land near perfect stuns. I've actually been very impressed with this play. We talked a bit earlier about how the fact that she's not as tanky as some supports. Like you could see, Janna definitely has some health on her right now, but even then, I mean, she's managing to keep up surprisingly well.
Yeah, I'm interested. Again, this is the lane I'm the most interested in. I'm interested to see how the build goes. I mean, we're going to see Philo Stones rushed by both of them, but kind of an interesting ult there from Ezreal. I mean, it will push the wave in, but you'd think you want to save that for when you're about to tower dive to kind of get that finishing damage.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like they're going for that at this point. They probably just wanted to push that wave and back off, and that looks to be exactly what they're doing. And in the top lane, we can see yet another engagement between Renekton and Trundle. He has his ultimate now, but more importantly, in the mid lane, we've got Kassadin trying to get away, but that is easily going to be a kill for Nautilus. That hook not landing, and now we can see the big problem in the top lane. Now that Trundle has managed to reach level 6, poor Renekton is just not able to trade with him. And over here, oh man, here's the contesting over the blue buff. We have the knockup and the tornado coming out, but there's a pullback in the hook and the Janna ultimate coming out. And now we have Nami coming down, and another stun landed absolutely beautiful in the flash forced out. And in the top lane, we've got Trundle being forced out yet again as there's
Oh,
2-level advantage on Renekton due to those kills he's got. So very nice, waiting out that ultimate. And now Ahri's going to be able to pick up that blue buff, and there's not going to be anything they can do about it.
yep, very unfortunate there. Having a blue buff on Ahri is really going to make Kassadin's life hard now that he's also got a death. But wow, this bot lane is really going well for Ezreal. I didn't think Ezreal would have this kind of control over the bot lane. I really thought Caitlyn was going to be more of a problem for him, but very, very good play.
Yeah, unfortunately, the harass is a bit much to keep up with in terms of mana pool, but to her credit, Nami has been doing a great job of essentially deterring them from doing anything terrible. You know, those stuns have landed. I have yet to see Nami not land a stun that she needed to.
Yeah, very, very clutch stuns. I mean, obviously an experienced Nami player. You don't. That's not like one of the supports where people are just like, "What should I play?" I'll take Nami. You know,
Yeah,
it'll be great.
yeah. I'm bad at skill shots. I don't take Nami. Oh man.
So,
We're starting to see Renekton get to the exact same place where he was last game. He's got nearly a 3-level advantage on Trundle now. And what's happening in these engagements is he's waiting for him to go ahead and be out of mana before engaging. And in the mid lane, it looks like we're going to have an engagement here. We've got Ahri using that Foxfire and that Spirit Rush coming out as she does her best to get away, and she will manage to escape that with her ultimate. And now we can see Janna and Ezreal doing quite a bit of harass. Nami coming in with that heal. But it's not really going to do too much to Janna. She is, however, out of mana and will be forced to back. Or
it
not.
actually stays at the last minute.
Yep.
I don't know what made
Troll
him
the
decide that. Like, it
casters.
seemed like a pretty good time for Janna to go back with everything pushed.
Yeah. And now we can see in top lane again, Renekton being that bully he's known to be. And Kassadin taking quite a beating from this Nautilus right now. Actually forced to use his ultimate. He's taken down to half health. And then we have Jarvan coming in. But with the help of Ahri, they will be deterred and not follow that any further. It looks like down in the bot lane, we're seeing some traps being put down by Caitlyn. The auto attacks are being pelted out, and there we go. A nice charm on the part of Ahri forces out yet another ulti tick from Kassadin. And this is just... I'm surprised at how well she's managing to bully Kassadin, despite the fact that he is probably one of the best counter picks to her.
Yeah, that's just impressive play. I mean, there's no reason for Kassadin to be losing this lane, but he is. And that's just when you know someone's very good on the champion they picked. And it's something we talk about a lot, but I think people tend to follow less and less. It's not always about picking the best counter or picking the most OP champion right now. If you are good with somebody, you can win with them.
Yep, and in the top lane, we see Trundle getting dove by 2 individuals. Very rough for him. And yeah, a case in point with Renekton. You know, he's obviously very good with Renekton, as that is going to be a turret, and that is 1-0 turrets at 12 minutes into the game. It is 4-0 in general, and there is like nearly a 5k gold advantage on the part of the blue team. This is becoming an absolute snowball at this point. And I think the better move for the blue team in the early game would have essentially just been to turtle, to farm, for nobody to play aggressive, and then after that point or rather the red team should have been doing this, and then after that point going for the kills, because they don't have the best early game team. Jarvan isn't great early game, Trundle isn't great early game, Kassadin certainly doesn't hit his peak till late game, and Caitlyn, while she's a bully in lane, she does so much better in late game. And now we can see the engagement happening here, Jarvan getting caught out, and there we go, there's the pullback, and Ahri coming in with a nice charm, and that will be the end of it.
Ooh, and the first miss there from Nami. Ezreal's going to put some punishment out for that, forcing the flash.
Yeah, you can still see a lot of poke going down onto her, but luckily that speed buff will manage to get her away, and that is going to be the end of that.
Yeah, what surprises me is for how bad this lane's been going, Caitlyn's doing a very good job keeping up in farm.
That's going to be... Wow. Oh no, stop tanking the turret, Ezreal, and there the barriers flashed out, and you can see the ultimate coming out from Nami as they go ahead and re-engage onto this, trying to take down this Caitlyn, but it is not going to happen, and the barrier forced out by Ezreal. And oh, nope, there's the ultimate. It is not going to squeak by. Janna's going to go ahead and have to tank that one.
Yep, very good job there. I'm a little bit too greedy by Ezreal, thinking he could pick up that kill with that last Q.
Yeah, just a little bit, and now we have, it just looks like everybody's returning to their lane. You can see mid's gone ahead and applied pressure to go ahead and pick up yet another turret for themselves. This is just dominating and excellent play on the part of the blue team right now. Red team is really going to have to get their stuff together. They have to know how to operate in team fights. And I mean, we talked a bit about the early game, how Ari was going to have to roam into lanes just to be able to keep up with Cassidy. We're no longer seeing that as the case. He's just been kept too far down. He's down almost 40 CS right now. It's just very unfortunate. What do you think the red team has to do to really come back from all of this?
I mean, it's going to have to come from their bot lane. That's the only place they're winning. So it's going to be very heavily on Ezreal. Janna is more team fight oriented. So if they come out of the bot lane with a decent lead and Janna's team fight control, I mean, who knows what'll happen once we get into that phase of the game. We should be heading there now with 2 turrets down. So we'll definitely have to see. But yeah, I mean, that's where it's going to
Yeah,
come
we can
from
see
if they come
Ari
back
coming
into
in
this.
here using the spirit, those charges of her spirit shard, spirit dash, and coming in here, and there we go. There's a kill on to Jarvan, and now Ezreal in here as well as Cassidon. This could be the turnaround they need, but no, Cassidon getting very low, and that'll be a double kill for Ari right now. You can see Cassidon finally picking up his first kill, but a nice Orb of Deception there, followed by a Charm and a Foxfire. We'll go ahead and pick up the triple kill for Ari.
Yeah, and Ezreal didn't have enough mana left to escape, which was very unfortunate. You know, they came into that fight at the right time, but there was just
Jarvan,
too much
Jarvan,
damage.
Jarvan in all chat just is worth. Oh man. I mean, granted, kills on Kassadin, you know, they count a lot more than kills on pretty much any other character, I would think, because of how hard he can snowball. His ability to just get in and get out and do a full combo onto somebody and just nail down their health, it's terrifying. And the couple of kills that he gets could really make the difference between him being able to pull that off and him being useless the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say a kill on Catherine is worth 3 kills on Ari, though.
No, no, not quite that much. Not quite that much. Or don't get me wrong, it's pretty impressive, but it's not worth a triple kill. And
Oh,
Renekton
oh,
caught out
Renekton.
here. Oh man,
Where are
all the
your
slows going
friends?
down. Doing his best to escape, but he keeps getting knocked around, and oh, maybe some miscommunication there as he goes over the wall and casts it and trying to go over the wall too. He's gonna get out of here. I can. Oh my god, no, what are you doing? Oh no, the knockup doesn't land from Janna, and there we go, an excellent stun provided by Nami, and there we go, there's the ultimate coming out, and Renekton coming back in here, Nami picking up the kill on Cassidy, and now we can see Trundle coming in here, trying to do something, but there we go, there's Ari's ultimate has been popped, and she will manage to get out of here with just a sliver of health. No, Trundle, one more auto attack, and there's the shutdown bonus for Trundle, and returning back to this fight, we've got Renekton getting down very low. He will get caught out here and will go down, and now Nautilus coming in here with the hook. Nami in a world of pain right now. She doesn't really have any mana left, and now Janna coming up to try and do something. The ultimate coming out from Nautilus. One more auto attack, but it doesn't look like they're going to manage it. Ezreal actually turning around to go for the auto attacks, but no. And oh my goodness,
Oh.
everybody's so low.
Now, the downside here is all the lanes are pushing and Caitlyn will start to make some progress, but Cassidy did just come back, so he is going to go try to even some of that out. But all in all, that did not go the way Blue Team wanted it to. They gave up way too much and got way too little.
Oh man, that sucked. And Nami saying lifesteal OP. That was a rough engagement on the part of the red team. I mean, what do you think went wrong there for the blue team?
I mean, they came in piecemeal. They had a really good opening, but when they should have just run away, they decided to go in because they have been consistently winning fights. But Ari got burst down, and that should have been sign 1 to leave. And then Renekton died, and that should have been sign 2 to leave. But instead, Nautilus kept going in. And yeah, he did really good damage to Ezreal, but it was Nautilus and Nami. That's hardly the damage base of this team to clean up a fight. And they just ended up getting wrecked.
And just very unfortunate to see. And now you can see the red team going in, trying to get that dragon. It looks like they are not going to get it. Actually deterred by Nami here, but Nautilus is here as well, and that stun will manage to miss. And there's the ultimate. It will go ahead and clip Nami, and oh man, she's going to be taken out. Easy peasy there, and there's a charm coming out from Ari, and now Jarvan trying to engage onto Caitlyn. Caitlyn doing her best to get away. It looks like she will get away at this point while the red team takes the dragon.
Yep. And see, things are now starting to continue to trend towards red team. There's still a pretty big gold deficit they have to make up. And they need to take some turrets, some objectives. They need to start pushing this advantage. But it seemed like they were pretty much out of it. They were losing every fight. Everything was turning against them. And now they've actually done a decent job pulling back into this game.
Yeah, it's just they've really managed to come back in these last couple of fights. What they haven't done is really close this gold gap right now. They're still so far behind in gold, despite these favorable fights they've managed to do. It may not be enough for them. Speaking of fights, we have another engagement here. Ari making sure to stay ahead of Jarvan so she can go ahead and easily pick up the kill on him. Trundle doing his best to get away. He's going to go ahead and take a bite out of Caitlyn, but he is caught, and that is going to be the end of the troll for the double kill.
Very good job. They were able to catch people out. It's exactly what they needed to do again. That time they fought on their terms, used the advantages they had, rather than that last fight, which was very piecemeal, very sporadic. They didn't have the people in the fight where they wanted them.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate to see. And there we go, Janna having to pop her ultimate now. She's going to get down very low, and there's the ultimate coming out. Ooh, Kassadin being forced to flash in front of that. How unfortunate. That is going to be down for quite a bit. I'm not even sure that flash was worth Janna's life.
Yeah, probably not. Well, it depends. I mean, Kassadin has his ult, so it's not like he's ever really short of the ability to jump. There isn't a really good silence on the other team right now, but yeah, that's a rough choice to have to make.
Yeah, it's very, very upsetting there. Unfortunately, Ultimate not off of cooldowns to be able to do anything with that. And we could just look across the board right now and take a look at both the builds and the farm. We can see Renekton sitting at about 60 farm over Trundle right now, looking at a Sunfire Cape, Giant's Belt, Double Dorans, and Merc Tread. So he's just stacked in terms of health, and he's got that added AoE damage going on, as well as the extra attack damage coming out from the Double Dorans. Meanwhile, Trundle's pretty much had to build for all health. He doesn't really have any damage that he's able to put out right now. This is probably one of the biggest differentials in the top lane and their play. It's unfortunate to see. That's not a spot you want to be in with Trundle. He's not able to deal any damage, and outside of getting very tanky using his ultimate, there's not much else to do.
Yep, interesting to see how all of this kind of contributes to the next team fight, because I think the next team fight will be really telling. If Red can't pull something off in this next team fight, they're going to be far enough behind that it's just going to start to siege up and really be dependent on blue team making a mistake for anything to change. Whereas if they can win in the next fight, they kind of keep it up in the air.
Yeah. And let's see here. Ba-da-ba. All right, sorry. Somebody from the pro team had a question for me, so I had to go ahead and answer that real quick. But yeah, so looking back at this, it's still going to be a very long haul for the red team. They need to go ahead and watch when the blue team gets out of position like that. They need to take advantage of that, and then they essentially need to go from there. They need to go ahead and pick up, it's a 4v5, it's a 3v2, whatever it needs to be, and go ahead and move from that point. Because right now, the red team, the blue team, they give absolutely zero fucks right now. They're ready to go into their base, take their turrets, take their jungle, and end this game immediately. Jarvan actually being forced out of his own jungle right now. You can see the ultimate coming out from Caitlyn as they siege down this turret, and that is going to be another tier 2 turret on the part of the blue team, as they've managed to get 5 turrets down in total, all but one tier turret now down. That is really rough.
Yeah, and this is one of the toughest places to be in as a team. When you're being sieged like that and each progressive objective is going down, there comes a certain point where you just have to fight or lose the game. But calling where that point is, like what objective do we really make stands at, is tough to do. And that's where having good team communication and a good solid team captain are very important.
Yeah, and you can see now Caitlyn just going back to push out this bot lane. They know where that last turret is. They know where they want to make plays, and they know what they need to push. You know, getting into those base turrets right now and being able to take those inhibitors is huge.
Yep, and the whole sieging process here it just needs to be done correctly. I mean, once you've got all those outer turrets cleared, you have map control. I think a lot of people are like, all right, so now that we've cleared all the outer turrets, we have to go take the inner ones now. Let's go, let's jump it, let's get inhibitors. Whereas if you kind of slowly push all the waves in, control their buffs and jungle camps, you increase your lead, and you make when you do fight at a tower, you make it to where it's at a the biggest advantage possible. I think people are just kind of used to the term, oh, they're sieging now, and you see the pro teams do it, and they just try to basically replicate that without the rest of what makes those
Yeah,
successful.
you can see Ezreal caught out here in the instantaneous shutdown bonus, and this right here is what I'm talking about with Ahri. You got that DFG, that death cap. Doesn't matter that she's frail, she's able to go in there and melt anybody that is out of position. However, that DFG is down. Despite that, it may not even matter. She's got double the farm that Cassidy has right now, and 7 times as many kills. This is just really, really scary. She's able to keep a Cassidy at bay. Her direct counter is not able to do anything against her. You can see right now Trundle trying to come in for that engagement, but it's just not going to happen as Ahri is now here, and they're going to be able to take this tower. They really need to be able to fight with their tower, and Ahri coming in here and just melting Kassadin right now. The ultimate coming out from Nami, and it looks like Kassadin will go ahead and fall. The flash coming out from Renekton as he goes ahead and just walks right on out of there. And there we go. The turret is down, and now we can see Ezreal coming back up, but will it be enough as we get Nautilus down onto him? You can see everybody quite low on the part of the blue team. They're going to have to play this very carefully. Nami managing to take out Janna, and there we go. It's an all-out war to see who can pick up Ezreal, and now they're just trying to get in here at this inhibitor. But with nobody having much mana, there's not much to be done. It's still, though, the red team not wanting to engage in a 2v5. And it looks like everybody's just going to back off, and Ezreal's going to go for the quick snipe down onto Nautilus. Well played, Ezreal. Well played.
Yeah, very good job. There was a lot of patience there. Ezreal could have gone in at any point and tried to burst somebody down, but he probably would have died himself. That was the perfect time for him to both pick up a kill and get out.
And you can see Trundle now still trying to pursue these guys. Probably not the best idea for him. You see that trophy going out, and then he just decides to back off. There's really no chance for him to get in here and do anything. But a nice play on the part of the red team, deciding to essentially knock down this turret the moment they get the chance to.
Yep, and so there's a turret down. They're going to go immediately to Baron. I don't know if blue team has the vision. Well, I guess they have that pink ward, so they should know this is going on, should head straight there.
Yep, and you can see everybody backing right now. You know, this would be an excellent chance for the blue team, actually, to go ahead and counter Baron. You saw the entire red team just go ahead and go back. They're all very low. They can't push that turret anymore. You know, they're not winning team fights either. You've got double their kills right now. Granted, half of them are sitting on Ahri right now, but you could absolutely dominate a team fight around here, and it looks like they may be setting up to do a little bit of a Baron dance.
Yep, I mean, I don't know if that's really in the best interest of red team. If they come out of their base with all the lanes pushing, they really need to either
Oh, and
fight
Jarvan
or...
has been caught out here, and it looks like Renekton may choose to go in, but Jarvan also standing here. You can see the ultimate going down onto Janna, and a nice stun coming out, as well as the Nami ultimate, and Ahri just doing her best to get her around in here and do damage, and she will actually fall here. Oh, man, what a huge turnaround, and there we go. There's a double kill. Trundle managing to pick that up, and now Renekton in a world of pain by himself. He does his best to get out of here. He's not going to be able to go for any kills here. He's kind of just dancing back and forth at this point. And that will be a 3-4-0 exchange in the favor of the red team. Could we see an epic comeback?
I don't know why Caitlyn stopped pushing there at bot lane. Like, they're going to take Baron. There's nothing you can do about it. Take their bottom inhibitor. Like, Caitlyn kind of backed off that entire fight, like halfway going in, halfway not. And now they're not going to be able to take anything in response to that Baron.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to see right now. You know, you saw the blue team having such a commanding lead, and now you can see both Kassadin and Janna originally. She decided to cancel it, but going back to make sure that they can go ahead and defend this, because you see Caitlyn split pushing in the bottom here. She's easily going to be able to pick up a turret, but you know, Baron isn't really worth a turret. Granted, they have all tier 2 and all tier 2 towers now and are looking at an open inhib. The question is will Baron buff be enough to save the red team? So what do you think about that?
I mean, the regen makes it a little easier for red team to hang out outside their base and trade, but it's not a done deal. They're not going to automatically win a team fight because there's still better items on the enemy team. What it does is it gives them an ability to be roaming outside their base. If they didn't have Baron, they'd pretty much have to be turtled right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Ari's going to go in here and try and go for this insta-gib onto Ezreal anyways, and it's going to bite her in the ass, so she's going to get very low here and be forced out, and there's the Nami ultimate, and oh, Trundle managing to pick that up, and just, it is so hard to watch. You can see Trundle coming up in here, he's going to get stunned, the Tornado not going to manage to take him out anybody. You know, Ari just getting a little bit overzealous there, going in, popping her full combo, but everybody from the enemy team just there to back it up. And you can see Jarvan coming in here kind of taunting the enemy team right now, splitting them up. And will they go for a dive is kind of the question. Trundle's soaking up a lot of this damage, so nothing for them to really worry about, but the minions are gone and they will have to back off.
Yep. And it's gonna continue to go this way. Ari's back up in 10 seconds. They need to be careful that they don't overstay their welcome, even with Baron buff, because Ari was so close to killing Ezreal there, which would have completely changed that fight. There's no guarantee that they won't be that Ari won't have better luck next time and actually just delete Ezreal.
Oh man, that's pretty much the best way to put it. So you can see now the red team, they're taking hold of this advantage. They're using this Baron buff for all that it is worth. They are pushing towers, pushing lanes, knowing that when it's down, they're likely going to have to defend this inhibitor. They want to keep the blue team on the run. They want to go ahead and build up this gold advantage, trying to close the gap as much as possible. The blue team still has a 6,000 gold advantage. Despite the fact that the red team picked up Baron, the blue team went around and made sure that they got the dragon, so that wasn't an option for the red team. And now it really is all going to come down to these next couple of fights. If they're going to be able to take the inhibitor, if the red team is going to make more use out of this Baron buff, which is slowly dwindling away. It's only got about a third of its timer left.
Yep, and I don't know. They've won these last two fights pretty solidly and closed the gold gap to about 6K. But on the same token, red team is coming in with a lot of confidence, and I think they've found kind of a formula for their fights that work well. And that's when you have to be careful, when the enemy has kind of figured out what to do to beat you in fights.
It's a very scary situation right now. You see the pink wards going down. Ari potentially, no, she's not actually going to catch out carry play Smurf. So traps go down, and it looks like the red team is looking to barrel down mid lane and go ahead and take this tower. Everybody's just kind of wandering around to defend. And oh, I'm sorry, it's like 8:30 here. I've been casting for quite a long time, ladies and gentlemen, if you go ahead and forgive me for that. And despite the fact that the minions have been cleared out, I don't really know if it's enough to stop the red team from taking this inhibitor. They have Baron. They want to go ahead and make what use of it they can. They know that they can't dawdle around here and really wait for the blue team to make a mistake. They kind of have to call the shots on this particular one and really just, you know, take a leap of faith even, just because, I mean, this might be their best opportunity.
Yeah, it is very good. The thing is, they have top lane pushing, which means they can wait on that. But on the other hand, bottom lane is pushing against them.
Right, and
So
Baron buff
eventually,
is gone
both
now.
yeah, eventually both teams are going to have to split up and get back to base.
Exactly. And we can kind of see Janna wandering off right now, going ahead and doing a bit of warding of her own as a ward in the mid lane fades out, and now Nautilus and the rest of his team actually pushing down their mid lane, and Jarvan actually going in with Nautilus for the dual engagement there, both of them kind of engaging onto one another. It looks like that may actually be the end of that engagement. Nobody really wanting to pursue any further, but it looks like, there we go, that is going to be the catch out, and now the engagement here as Trundle goes in, and oh, this is just so rough to watch. Renekton's got his ultimate pop. Trundle not in a safe position to go in. Ezreal taking pot shots at the team, and there we go, there's a charm coming out, the Cataclysm going down, Ari getting out of that, and Jarvan is immediately going to fall, and the chomp coming out from this Trundle. And here we go. There's the disruption there. Trundle tower diving now, and Ari is going to go down. A nice stun used by Nami, but there we go. Caitlyn falling as well. Ezreal managing to pick that one up. He may actually go for the double kill now, as yes, that blue build should manage to secure that despite the stun coming out. A beautiful stun too. Look at all that damage that Nami managed to take down on him, and oh, that tower shot so close. So close, and a nice arcane shift over the wall will go ahead and keep Ezreal safe.
Yep, and they've pulled back within 5,000 gold. I mean, that's really, really good. They're going to have to go do something about their bottom lane here in just a second, though. So they're not going to be able to take too much more of an advantage. They'll clear the jungle, steal all the buffs, and yeah, Jarvan will be able to clean that up for them. But it wasn't the fight they were hoping for. They couldn't take people down fast enough and with enough health left on their own side to really push.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at where the mid laners are at now. We've got that Roa coming out from Cassidy. Again, 100 farm on him. Luckily, though, it's all stacked up. We're seeing that a little bit of extra tankiness really coming into the fights. Abyssal Scepter, a perfect buy on him to go ahead and get into the middle and disrupt things. Of course, the Sorcerer's Shoes. He's still very far behind Ari in terms of gold. Ari having collected a total of 12,000 gold to Cassidy's 8,000. 4,000 gold differential. That is a big item buy right there.
Yeah, I mean that's really almost evened it up. This is closer than I think Blue Team was ever hoping it would get back to. Now, the gold is still surprisingly separated, and that's the thing. In game, they can't see that. They can only see that the kill differential has been made up so much. So it's more demoralizing probably to them than it is to us.
Yeah.
Because we can see, hey, you're still actually up about 5,000 gold. Whereas to them, it's, we went from up 10 kills to up 1.
Exactly. I mean, it's difficult to watch simply because, I mean, you can tell the red team, or the blue team rather, is slowly starting to lose their grip on everything that they've worked to establish. They're taking Dragon right now, but what about this Baron buff? In reality, the red team, had they gone earlier, could have probably ended up sneaking the Baron buff, and the blue team wouldn't have been able to respond. Mostly due to the fact that they went ahead and took Baron, and now you can see them dancing around this mid lane, not wanting to face check any bushes, knowing that if they do, it could be the last brush they ever decide to check. And you can see the charm coming out from Ari, but that is not going to be enough. Jarvan looking to potentially come in here, but he is going to go ahead and back off. As of this moment, we just kind of have the red team sitting back, looking for an opportunity to engage. The same thing goes with the blue team.
Yeah, and see, they've lost some of this outer mid tower, which is the one that provides a lot of control. What I would say the biggest risk is here is if red team goes for Baron and blue team just runs down lane and takes the inhibitor and tries to win the game. Because that's what the real risk is here.
Oh,
More
no.
so than...
Say it
Yeah.
and they'll do it. Say it and they'll do it. And that
yeah.
is exactly what's happening.
So yeah, they'll take Baron, but they may even lose a Nexus turret here. Because people are going to have to... Yeah, they're just now starting the recall. There goes the inhibitor. Blue team is going to back off.
No.
So they realize they traded Baron for it. Oof. That's rough.
That was a smart move on their part. Those super minions are really going to help them, essentially in turtling out for the next little bit. So they make sure that all of their towers are pushed. They don't have any problems worrying about really getting pushed into their base. All they have to do is worry about figuring out a way to win these next couple of team fights, and that's it. The game is theirs. So this was certainly a good play on their part. You can see the gold advantage, though, slowly dwindling down as this game goes on. 36 minutes into it right now. We're starting to see that gold matter less and less and less.
Yep, and I mean, this is where the big difference is. Right now, all the fighting is in mid lane, but if the fighting shifts anywhere else, blue team is automatically going to have a push to their advantage with super creeps here, which it means it kind of confines red team to having to fight in this mid lane. They can't leave it for an extended period of time and just be like, oh, we'll push top, we'll push bot, we'll clear that stuff out first.
Yeah, we can see the Janna Tornado coming out, and here we go. That is going to be the stun down onto Jarvan, followed by the Charm. It's not going to be enough to take anybody down. We saw the Ezreal ultimate go out and take Nautilus down very low, and then the Caitlyn ultimate going out and managing to peg them down. And oh my goodness, so much lifesteal on Ezreal right now. He literally just does not care about the damage he's taking. And oh, the Flash ultimate out coming from Cassidy as he's taken very low, caught off guard by that Charm, and a nice stun coming out from Nami. Sadly, no one there to be able to follow up on that, and she will be forced to back off as the red team takes another turret, nearly evening up the score here.
And Trundle just not really doing any damage to that super minion.
No.
I mean, this is where the problem becomes. Now they would be best suited right now to go clear bottom, kind of push the other waves in, but they can't. If they leave mid lane, it's just going to push out on them again. So until that inhibitor's back up, they're in a little bit of trouble. Now, luckily with Baron, they regen health enough that there's not going to be a situation where they really need to recall.
Except for bot lane right now, which is pushing like a madman, because we all know what happens when you get inhibitors. All your other minions gain buffs, so they get stronger. You know, their stats are increased. This is going to give exactly what the pings are going down for Dragon right now, and then likely going to transition over into that bot lane to go ahead and push out. I mean, this is just, it's going to be a consistent thing. They get an inhibitor, you're going to see the other lanes pushing. It gives the blue team more ability to go ahead and try and, you know, just hold out for that Baron buff to be gone.
Yeah, and the lanes pushing is really going to become a problem here. Blue team not really, I would say, pushing to the fullest of the advantage they could take here, but they also weren't sure where the entirety of red team was. So it's, you know, it's better to have to look back and say, we maybe could have pushed better there, than to look back and say, so we all got killed because they were waiting for us there in the jungle.
Exactly. You know, we really need to see some more vision coming out from both teams right now to really make any considerable difference in what's going to happen. We've seen this gold differential slowly start to dwindle down. It's just under, you know, it's just a little bit over 3K right now. And everybody is respectively picking up their buffs before getting back into really working on making the plays here, going for that last team fight, which is likely going to decide the end of the game.
Yep, and it's just unfortunate here because Ezreal with red buff now. I mean, Ezreal is already so scary with this build compared to Caitlyn, who is just a little bit, I don't want to say behind, but the build's just less scary, especially with the amount of armor on the enemy team. Ezreal now with red buff could just completely turn a fight around if something starts up here soon.
Yeah, we'll really just have to see what happens at this point. Janna picking up the Shirelia's Locket combo. One Locket on the part of the red team and one on the part of the blue team. Both coming out with that nice little AoE shield, which should help protect. And despite the fact that Ahri is AP, that shield is going to help to deaden a little bit of her damage. You know, that AoE is going to be devastating if she can go ahead and line up those skill shots.
Yeah, what I find the most interesting here is if red team is able to hold mid lane until the inhibitor comes back up, then that trade was basically a wash. You know, neither side made more progress than the other.
Exactly, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening right now. You know, no one's really managed to do anything. Baron buff is down, the inhibitor is about to respawn, and I'm about to smack my head into the desk hoping that this game is over soon.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they're just neither side has the confidence to do that kind of final push. And there we go. The inhibitor is back and Baron buff is gone. So that entire trade was just completely a wash.
They did manage to get a couple of turrets out of it, though, so I suppose it wasn't a complete wash, but it's still pretty much almost one. I just...
I think the problem is blue team has the lead, but they're not winning the fights anymore. Their damage is just not stacking up against the defensive stats of the enemy team.
I think the problem is that Lunette is hungry and wants to go and eat and sleep and work out and do all of the things that I need to do today. But the blue team is like, no, we're just going to have an endless battle, and you're going to be sitting here for at least another 60 minutes, and we're going to have the longest game in the entire League of Legends history. That's totally what's going on right now.
Well, I mean, that's what I asked them, but they hadn't responded yet.
We'll see, they're clearly fulfilling on your wishes. Jerks. I'm going to send a message to Carry Play Smurf, be like, yo, finish up this game. I need to go and work out, man. We can see the charm going off from Ahri. A nice hook being interrupted by Janna there. And Oh man, Carry Play Smurf taking quite a bit of damage there. He's actually going to be taken down to around half health right now. You can see Ari doing her best to clear up these waves as another hook gets sent out, but manages to collide with nobody. The only
Yeah, that hook
downside,
could have been the difference there. If that had landed onto
yeah,
Ezreal and they'd been able to burst him down, that would have been the game changer.
yep. It's always difficult getting to this kind of point in games when it comes to cast because it's just what do you talk about at this point? Like what do you talk about? You look at the supports builds, they're both pretty standard. Locket building into Shurelya's, Sightstone, and wards, CDR boots. AD carries have what is typical AD carry builds for them. Caitlyn building into IE, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and going for a Blade of the Rune King is exactly what she should be going for in this match. And Ezreal's going with that blue build we've talked about before. We already talked about what Kassadin and Ari are doing. Jarvan and Nautilus are building fairly standard, with the exception of the Nashor's Tooth coming out from Nautilus, which I just have no idea about. But here we go. We're finally seeing an engagement, and there is the Janet Tornado and the Nami ultimate coming out. And you can see they're doing their best to peel for Caitlyn right now, but Renekton is in a pickle. He is a 3v1, and there is the ultimate coming out from Ezreal, and that will be a dead Renekton and nearly a dead Jarvan as he's going to be forced to back. You can see Trundle getting very low here, and there we go. There's the hooks, and there's a shutdown coming for Ari. And, I just wish Jarvan would walk back to his turret instead of trying to recall right here. And you can see the stun going down. Nautilus trying to come in with all that damage, but Ari is so low on mana right now, she's not really able to do anything. And there we go. Caitlyn will go ahead and take that kill onto Janna. But at what cost? As Kassadin comes in here, gets very low, and then Ari gets taken out. And now the flash is forced out on the part of the blue team. Turning here may not have been the best idea, as Kassadin does have quite a bit of movement and is able to catch up, but it looks like they're just going to go ahead and call things off here. No, Kassadin actually managing to come in here. He's going to get really low, though. Oh, and no, the final auto attack is not going to be able to take him out, and Ezreal's going to get him. Are you kidding me?
That's crazy. I thought they were going to be able to have that chase go on at least a
Oh
little
my
bit longer,
god.
which would have given the minions time to do some serious damage to the base. But instead, Kassadin getting out there is the worst possible thing that could have
Are
happened.
you kidding me right now? I just...
Wow.
Damn it, Kassadin, die already. All of you. You know what? All of you just die already.
Oh, this is pretty crazy. I just can't believe Ezreal was able to clean that up there. That's got to be so disappointing for Caitlyn.
Yeah. I mean, it really does at this point. You can see the catch-out actually coming down onto Ezreal. He's doing his best to get away, but this could be the game changer right here as he's caught out and shut down.
Yep, that's going to be a real problem because he's the majority of their damage. Everybody else, other than Caitlyn, is up now. Caitlyn up in 16 seconds. This could be the first inhibitor we see being pushed here. It's already very low. This 4-on-4 is pretty much in their favor because Ezreal is such a big contributor to the enemy team, whereas Ari is the major contributor to the blue team.
Right, and you can see Jarvan trying to go in here. Kassadin following up quickly behind, and there's the ultimate. Ari in the back, ready to do what she can do, and there we go. There's the taunt coming out. You can see it's just not enough as Janna comes in with that ultimate, and really no damage dealt across the board to much of anybody. Jarvan doing his best to go ahead and disrupt, and Renekton is actually going to be the first to go down here. It looks like he's going to end up falling to Trundle here. Meanwhile, Nami, surprisingly enough, managed to pick up Jarvan, and now the 3 left on the red team are going ahead and backing off, while the 4 on the blue team are going to go ahead and take out this inhibitor.
Yep, and see that was where the trade was completely worth it. Like Caitlyn got into the fight in the end there. Probably should have just gone bot, but the trade on Renekton there completely worth it. Oh, and the Ezreal ult does not hit either of them.
Whew. Yeah, just going straight up the mid lane. So no luck for that, and the red team is totally just going to counter Baron here. We're going to be where we were 10 minutes ago. Hawkeye!
I don't know if they can counter Baron though, because they have enough wards to know what's going on, and they're going to react to it. Their bottom turret is just not as important as Baron.
They're going to do it, Hawkeye. I think they're going to do it. We're going to be where we were 10 minutes ago.
Remember, no smite though. Jarvan's the one who's dead.
Oh.
And We do have a
Oh,
smite on
cool.
Nautilus.
Yeah, if he can go ahead and get in there. We see now Shanna actually popping both her ultimate as well as her locket. She's immediately going to get melted, but Ezreal managed to go ahead and take that home, and there we go. Ezreal's going to fall as well. Cassidy getting knocked up, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get over that wall. He's not. Trundle getting very low, and that's going to be a dead Cassidy and a dead Trundle, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a 4-for-0 exchange in the favor of the blue team. GG's being called, but you know what they say, it ain't over till it's over, eh?
Yeah, not necessarily yet. I mean, the bottom lane is pushing. They have to win the game here because none of their other lanes but mid are pushing. So if they don't win with
Exactly.
this push, they're going to trade a lot for it. Now, granted, they have 30-second death timers and only Jarvan to give them trouble, but yeah, it's not over until they down that Nexus.
Exactly, and we can see Jarvan just doing his best to defend here. He's actually forced to go back to his base. The GG's being called. The Nexus has been sieged, and that will be it. The blue team is going to go ahead and take home the finals of the TowerDiveTV Weekly number 30. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Lunette the Herald, casting here today with Hawkeye. And we will go ahead and see you guys next week. We're going to go ahead and turn off the stream now. Remember to follow us for content coming out every single week, and we'll be sure to entertain you guys as much as we possibly can. Remember to stay tuned in the next couple of weeks for the new Guild Wars 2 tournament that's coming out, the 150 gold prize pool. We will see you guys next time. Bye!
Bye bye.